Thanks, Jen. And we're ready when you are, Mr. Chair,
Okay,
as long as your mic is on.
my mic is on, so the time now is 5:30 p.m. Let's go ahead and get our board meeting started. So, okay,
Okay. So
we're going to convene the meeting.
oh, I didn't pull. You know, I thought I was all ready to go and I did not pull up the work session packet. So board members, when you got on the website and saw 4 different links to different parts of the packet, it took me a while to get that all up on the website. And part of it is we just had a lot of correspondence in your board packet this month. So I apologize for that. And Mr. Chair, we'll just ride right into the Madras Swim Team facility use agreement.
Okay.
So, oh, go ahead.
Do we have people from the Madras Swim Team here?
So I invited them a
Board
couple
of
weeks ago,
directors? Yeah.
and I did not hear back. So without them being here, my intent this evening is hopefully to get some board direction and feeling about some different aspects of the facility use agreement as it's been drafted in the past. And then I can work with them and bring back an agreement, hopefully for you to consider approving in November. If the Madras Swim Team would like to have a conversation with the board before that November board meeting, we may have them come either to that work session or set up a special meeting so that you can have that conversation with them. So that's sort of what I was thinking, if they weren't able to make it tonight, what the path forward would look like. Just to give you a little context, and I will also add that normally I would give you a cover memo to explain the background and the history and the context. And frankly, we're lucky I got the board packet out. I just didn't have time between running the front desk and lifeguarding a lot over the last few weeks with staff callouts and time off. So I apologize that I'm just going to verbally give you that information. So back in 2019, 2020, the executive director before me had a verbal agreement with the Madras Swim Team that if they separated from the Madras Aquatic Center Recreation District into their own 501c3, then the MAC would provide them free facility use for 3 years while they built up their funds, and then we would start charging them. When I came into the role as the director in 2021, I felt that it was really important that we have something in writing that documents our mutual agreement on things like fees, how often they use the facility, what the processes and procedures are for requesting facility use and swim meets and all those things. So that is where this facility use agreement came from. It's not something that we require. It's not, I mean, they could just submit an application to use the facility and we would charge them our regular rates and we would do all the normal stuff. But because of the historical partnership and the benefit of having that partnership with the swim team, we get a lot of our staff, our lifeguards from the swim team, and we pipeline our swimmers into their program as well. So it's a mutually beneficial partnership with this group. And so at that time, we started this agreement. And so for the first couple years, we didn't charge them for use of the facility. And in that third year, there was a request to the board to not charge the full fees for the facilities and to charge less, and to also allow for free swim meet access at least one time per season. So that is what the facility use agreement has included for the last couple of years. So in your packet, you have the existing facility use agreement that's been track changed as a draft for this current fiscal year 25-26. Proposing it starts December 1st. They're planning to start their swim season in December. And if you scroll through, and I'm going to do it up on the screen and try and make it bigger so folks can see it. I'm going to scroll through to the first. A lot of this is just attorney liability jargon, things that they're required to do. For example, they have to have USA Swimming certified coaches to, in particular, to use our blocks. That's a state requirement. And there are some other things that are unique to our partnership. So the first area of direction needed from the board is for practices. So currently we're working under fees that the board set in April of 2023. And it was $11 per lane per hour for practices. I'm going to show you some information in a few minutes about that. At the time, that was a $5 per hour per lane discount for the Madras swim team. Some of the other changes reflect our cost recovery policy that now we set our fees based on in that particular section. Section 2.4, we're not requesting board direction, but just so you know, one area of conversation is how much notice we need if they're going to cancel practice. The more notice, obviously, the better, because then we can say lap swimmers come, be at the pool. But we also recognize that things happen. So historically, it's been 24 hours notice, and it's just not enough. So we're requesting 48 hours, and I haven't heard back from them on that point yet. Another piece that we've done with them is allow youth memberships, monthly memberships for their members that they then pay for. Typically, anyone who's under the age of 14 has to have an adult that has a monthly membership for them to have one. And we've waived that requirement for MST members through this agreement. So a 10-year-old who's on Madras swim team can have a membership without an adult that has a membership. And that's because we know they can swim if they're on the swim team. And that's part of that rule. I do have an email out to the state asking for clarification on that new requirement that anyone 14 or younger have an adult in the facility when they're swimming, if that applies to swim teams. And I'm waiting to hear back on that, because if it does, then that may change how we approach this item. Item 3 is on practices. Historically, we've guaranteed them up to 3 lanes. We, as a staff, we're not sure that that's in the best interests of everyone trying to use the lap pool. If they only have 5 members, for example, we don't want them to feel like they have 3 lanes to use. And so we're going to work with them on what that magic number is that makes for another lane. If it's 5 swimmers, if it's 6, whatever it is, that then gives them additional lanes. But it's also important for us to note that during the winter swim season, the school district has priority on the lanes that are available, and we'll use the same methodology for determining how many lanes they get, if whether it's 5 or 6 swimmers to a lane or whatever that looks like.
Courtney,
yeah,
because I'm not clear, does the Madras swim team stop at junior high level? No, they have older kids too.
So depending on the season, they might also have high school swimmers who participate to stay in condition and shape for when they get to high school. I think the youngest they've had is 7 or 8 years old. And then I know that a couple of our staff who are on swim team participated in the summer to be conditioned for when winter comes. So it's all the way through high school.
But the 2 that go when they're going on simultaneously,
then they're on their own teams. Yeah.
And how many typically do they have on a team? I mean, it just varies.
It varies. So last year, the high school swim team, I think, had 13, somewhere around there. And during the summer, MST, the Madras swim team, I want to say they had 15. It was their biggest season they've had. Part of it is that we started our junior swim team program, and then we're encouraging those kids who are ready to go up to club. And I also think a lot of families chose to put them in this summer to keep them in the water while the pool is shut down, frankly. For swim meets, we've asked them for no less than 90 days notice of the date for the swim meet. Part of that is staffing. Part of that is if we have to change our normal schedule, let's say they're doing a swim meet on a Saturday and we have to cancel an open swim, we want a couple months in order to get that word out that it's going to be canceled.
And that's not a change. That was in there already.
This has been here already,
Yeah.
just highlighting it to make you aware that if they request usage of the leisure pool for a warm up or cool down pool, we do charge them for that extra, because then we have to have 2 more lifeguards on than what we need if we're not using the leisure pool. Also, historically, we've had a challenge. Sometimes our very helpful and eager staff get too involved in the swim meet, either announcing it or helping be a flip and turn official or however, and they get pulled from their actual duties at the pool during the swim meet. And so we're trying to encourage them not to do that. And so we're going to charge them if they take someone away from their regular duties, their hourly rate plus benefits and payroll and all of payroll taxes and all of that, to hopefully dissuade them. And I've also been chatting with our staff about, you're so helpful and great, and let's make sure that we're not doing swim meet activities, that we're still doing our work activities. Always coming from a really good, helpful place. Based on the new rules, instead of 2 lifeguards, we're guaranteeing 3, as well as a deck supervisor and timing equipment at no cost. Let's see, payment for swim meets. So historically, again, they've received a waiver of facility use fees for no more than 4 swim meets during the term of the agreement. And historically, they've used that to do 1 meet per season. And then we do charge them to reduce the pool temperature because of the energy that it takes to warm it back up. And so we're proposing changing that fee from $100 to $200 just because the cost of energy has gone up, and we haven't updated that fee in a while. And I believe that's everything that to discuss as part of the agreement. So the next piece in your packet is a sideways, I think I can turn, all right, is a facility use agreement fees analysis. And this is to help you just have some context for what it costs. So in 21-22, if we had been charging them our full rate, they would have paid $42,000 for that year. In 22-23, if we had been charging them the full rate, we would have charged them $23,000. Then when we started charging in 23-24, that $11 per hour per lane, they had 4 seasons and it was $8,700. And then as we move forward, they've gone to 2 seasons per year, a summer and winter season. And so last year's actuals were $3,069 because they also reduced the number of days they have practice and the number of hours they're in the pool. And all of that impacts that final number, that final cost. And for the summer, we had estimated about $1,800. Because we were close to the public, we charged them the full rate, $16 per hour, and we also charged them for any home swim meets. So I believe the total they ended up paying was somewhere around $3,000 or $4,000 between practices and swim meets. When you go down under analysis with current approved fees, you can see that our out of district fees, and I'm looking right here, if you can see the screen, for 1 season, if you were paying out of district rates, a 3-month season, it'd be about $7,200. And that's 100% cost recovery. So that's calculated on covering all of the costs associated with practices and swim meets. When we go to the in-district, remember our cost recovery plan says that aquatics should cost recover somewhere between 75 and 100%. And so with our current fee structure, we're cost recovering about 76%. Or another way of looking at it is we're subsidizing it by 24%. Just a reminder, and I've got it written down here, district subsidy means how much you're recovering with our general fund dollars and not recovering through fees. Now, when you go to the next side, we have the rate that we charge the 509J school district based on our cost recovery and our intergovernmental agreement with them. And so we're recovering, it's about 50-50. So we are subsidizing the high school use of the pool and second grade swim lessons and independent workout for students. And historically, that's probably the highest it's been in terms of what we charge them. And then you can see at the end, the current $11 per hour rate is the district is subsidizing the activity by 182%. If you go down, there's a list of partnership activities. The partnership is really important to us. Like I said, we get a lot of our staff through their participation in swim team and their love of being in the water. A reminder that because Madras Swim Team participated in fundraising and got a grant to help support the scoreboard when we replaced it, they get 50% of all ad revenue that's paid toward that scoreboard. As of this year, that's $150. So we do have some folks coming back to advertise, and we're starting to make that promotional push with business and other partners around the communities that we serve. If you go to the right-hand side, this is kind of where we talk more about swim meets. So the cost of an 8-hour rental of the MAC out of district is $500 per hour. And so if we had an 8-hour rental, it would cost $4,000 out of district, $3,200 in district, $2,560 in the evening, because we charge a higher rate for weekend. It goes up to $400 for 509J at $3,200 for an 8-hour rental. And then to provide some information on minimum staffing required and the cost for swim meets. This assumes a few things. It assumes we're using just the lap pool. There's no warm up or cool down pool. That it's a 6-hour meet with 1 hour setup and tear down. So that's how we get to the 8 hours, because even if the swim meet's only 6 hours, we're paying staff for 8. And we're charging the school district or whoever's using the facility for 8. We do have to do a 30-minute lunch, so we have to have an extra guard on. So that's why you see 4 lifeguards, so that we can cover lunches and breaks that are required. We have 2 patron services staff members. Again, that's so we can cover breaks and lunches. And then a manager on duty. And so when you look at, we have 8 as the minimum staffing for an 8-hour rental, and that's about $1,260. That includes hourly rate and payroll taxes. It doesn't include anything beyond those 2 things. So that's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about any of that?
So when these kids travel around to other facilities for their swim meets, do they pay, like barrel racers pay a $40 office fee up above what their jackpot fee is? Do you have any idea what these other facilities are charging?
I don't. I think when we held our summer meet, and I say we because my kids participate, when the summer meet happened, I think we pay USAA Swimming for them to participate in swim meets. And then I think each team has to pay a certain amount to the host team, but I don't know what the amount is. And then every hosting team has the option of charging a door fee to help recover costs.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not sure exactly what the teams pay.
Does our MST, do they charge a door fee?
They have not.
Yeah.
I don't think, and the high school just started last year doing that because of our IGA and the costs they were incurring for swim meets.
Yeah.
Is there any cost comparison to other pools like Redmond, or I know Bend would probably be completely different?
Both, I know that Bend has an intergovernmental agreement with their school district. I don't know if they have any agreements with 501c3 youth teams. I can tell you that there's a water polo team out of Bend that wanted to know what we would charge, and they said, wow, that's a little bit more expensive than what we pay. And Bend has a much larger subsidy pool than we do.
Right,
So
right.
it's hard to compare apples
guess
to
that's
apples.
Even in
Um,
larger.
I can tell you that I know this, I shouldn't say I know. Based on conversations I've had with our swim team board, I believe that they're interested in continuing at a maximum, the $11 per hour per lane. As a nonprofit, they're not out there to make money. And, I share with them, yes, either we're not out here to make money either, but we do need to try and recover costs, because if we're subsidizing a swim team, those funds aren't going towards something else. And so that's why this is a board decision, to decide, at what level of subsidy you're comfortable with, as it relates to our agreement with the swim team.
So we're still at the giving them one swim meet a year. So the other swim meets, I think, are what are at issue. I'm good with the lane rentals. We've got other things going on while they're doing their practices. But having the facility shut down for these swim meets is where I think there should be some door fees or something that we recoup.
Or can we charge the door fees? Is that what you're saying?
I think the swim team should be charging the door fees, because we should be charging the swim team what the
Yeah.
facility would rent
There you
for
go. That might be
on the
a
swim
better way.
meets.
to-
And I know it's a tough situation, it's like these kids that play club volleyball. I mean, they pay to play.
That's right.
So what are typically the door fees?
Oh, it could be a couple bucks. It could be $5. Sometimes they do adults pay, they have adult, senior, student rates. It just
It's
depends.
just like we pay to go in and watch a volleyball game and a basketball game at the
Exactly,
schools,
at the School.
Right.
Right.
And maybe it's not gonna amount to much, but that would be up to the swim team probably to pursue that. I mean, I want to support the swim team because I know that they are important to us to bring these swimmers on, and
Well, yeah, and they have not responded, so I think, yeah, that makes it, but I can see that we could stay, I think $11 if you were to stay at that, if you thought you could make that work for that time for the lane usage, and I
So
agree that the one-time free maybe is a good thing, but yeah, it's to make up for the cost. I agree with Eugene.
So what if, so one option might be to say, we'll retain the $11 per hour per lane. We will have one free swim meet per season.
just like we've had under.
And then anything over that will be charged the 509J rate or
The in-district.
the
rate.
in-district rate.
The 509J rate, I mean, they're both so similar.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they might have to consider doing some rank in the input. What's been your experience on these swim meets when you go to watch?
Excuse me?
What's been your experience on these swim meets when you go just to watch? Are you paying to go in? Like a varsity basketball game or?
The last swim meet, other than Macra that I went to, was when my kids were 10, and that's 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
And there was no
Yeah.
charge or anything like that. You just came in. But all of the OSAA sports have to charge entry fees per OSAA. It isn't a school decision, so that's why you get charged $5 when you go in, and a lot of that money goes to the OSAA.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of come in the last 10 years or so. But when you go to a club tournament, you pay, everybody pays, except the coach. So having a minimal fee, you'll get a few complaints, but as long as it's stated up front, $3, $4, $5 is going to help them and us, and shouldn't be that big a deal.
Typically, do they have more than one swim meet though?
The last few years haven't had any until this first summer. There were two or three this summer that were home swim meets.
For the MST.
And do you typically give them the first home meet free, or they schedule them and say, we'll give you this one, or would they just give one? Doesn't matter.
There's no typical, because summer we charged them for all of them because we were closed. But in my mind, I would give them the first one free and then charge after that would be
It's kind of where I'm leaning too. And I think we need to charge the rate that everybody else would pay. And they can try to recoup possibly with door fees or something. But we'd open to hear from their board if they'd like to come visit with us about it.
So if everyone is okay with that initial approach, I can touch base with them and keep working on the IGA and hopefully bring one back for you to consider approving.
Okay.
That sounds great.
I guess we're gonna move on to number 3, policy review.
Okay, board members, in your packet, you have a very long contract procurement policies item. And now I need to turn this back, hold on. So it's all under the resolution 2026-04. This proposed policy was brought to you at the last work session as a first review. There have been no changes made since that review. This is being presented to you from our former attorney's office that updated it based on changes in the law. There are some new things that are allowed, in particular, the certain class special procurements. For the record, Janelle Lewis arrived at 5:55 PM.
Perfect.
Other than bringing it into compliance with the current law, I don't really have anything else to report to you on it unless there's any questions. It is on your business meeting agenda for adoption.
Well,
I think it's a good idea to get it in there.
The second policy that's in your packet is the inclement weather environmental hazards policy. There was some conversations over the summer about the policy and whether or not it was meeting the needs of our communities. And so I want to bring to your attention, it's page 44 of your packet. Let's see, it's page 2 of 4 in the environmental hazards policy. The question is, when outdoor AQI reaches 150, we change how we do some things with our HVAC system. And then when it reaches 200, we serve as a safe indoor space and offer free access to scheduled drop-in activities. And so the question was, is 150 appropriate? Is 200 appropriate? I did reach out to our local public health department for some data. And I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. And she sent some data that is in your packet around how many events we've had that have gone above the different air quality index levels. I'm sure most of you remember September of 2020 and that really awful fire in the Mackenzie Pass. There were quite a few days that were over 200. You can see there's a couple that were up to 700 AQI at that point. I've heard stories of our staff that the pool was just full of smoke because this was before we had the scrubbers. That is not going to be an issue moving forward unless it's another event like that. If you come to the next page, you can see there's only one on this page that got over 150, none that met that 200 AQI level. Here is under 60. So when you look at the difference between 150 AQI and 200, it's really minimal. From our perspective as a staff, we're happy with whatever the board direction is on this issue. And we can bring back a revised policy at the next board meeting if you'd like to change it to 150 ppm that we open and serve as a safe indoor space. We do have ways of tracking how many people come in during that time. We've got buttons that we click instead of charging people. There was one instance, I want to say in 2023, and I believe we had 4 people come in and use the facility as a safe space and they swam, no cost. So
this goes back to the summer when we spoke with the Jefferson County Public Health. Their threshold is the 150, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
I think we should follow their threshold. That kind of ties in with the other safe facilities as well.
I agree.
Yeah. so that we're all on the
In
same
line.
page.
Yeah, that's what I was
In
gonna
line with
ask.
it.
County-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Countywide,
Yeah.
150.
Other 4 facilities, if that's what they're doing, that's what we should.
All right, we will bring back. an
Now, what are
adjusted
the other
policy.
facilities?
Courthouse,
oh, let's see, well, the house up behind Ahern's was one she told me about.
there's the courthouse, the
Courthouse, food pantry.
food
Food bank,
pantry
yeah, food pantry.
here.
So during the summer, there were 4 facilities open as clean air
And,
shelters.
uh,
And we didn't reach 200, but we reached 150, I believe.
Yes.
So that's why those shelters were open, I think.
And she's,
I think the-
public health had 10 people that utilized those 4 shelters when we had the smoke event.
I do have a question. Do you know that our control system will let you go to 70%?
It does.
Hmm.
We did it recently when it was kind of smoky outside because we could smell it a little bit on the inside. That's something I know how to do, Frank.
So you can bring that back, that change, it sounds like the board's in,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can bring that back to the next meeting. The third policy question is related to scholarships. So I have gotten quite a few requests recently for swim lesson scholarships for folks that live in Culver. And our current policy eligibility is that applicants must reside within the boundaries of the district. And, as I was reflecting on it, I thought, well, let's see what the MAC Trust thinks, because ultimately all of our scholarship funds come from the MAC Trust. And they would like the district to consider providing scholarships countywide in Jefferson, to anyone that resides in Jefferson County, rather than just within the MAC-RD district boundaries. Part of that is, I think, just recognizing that water safety and keeping kids and families from drowning hazards is a countywide goal, and that we can help support that. Also, I think from a financial perspective, it's not going to be too onerous on the scholarship funds that we have. So the question for the board is if you would be okay with that change or not.
The change of going outside our district to where it's all Jefferson.
To where it's Jefferson County wide.
I absolutely agree with that.
So can you get a statement from the MAC Trust Board that they've reviewed that and that they are in favor of sharing their funds countywide?
I think I have a text
Yeah.
that says it, but I can ask Jared to give us something in writing and then present it with a proposed updated policy.
So since we're kind of on the MAC Trust, this is kind of a side note, but they are looking for a board member to step up and serve on their board as well. One of the MAC-RD board members to serve on the MAC Trust.
Oh, because it was Deanna.
Yes, with Deanna leaving. So think about it.
Just another night.
Yeah.
It's a morning.
Their next meeting is, let's see, Friday. This Friday, November 7th at 9 o'clock, Jared Reed's office.
In the morning.
Uh-huh.
I do have a question with the eligibility. Been involved in a lot of scholarship programs with the volleyball and some other other ones. Very often, if they're on scholarship, they don't attend a lot. And if these programs are, you have 1 day a week or 2 days a week or something that you get a scholarship for, I would think that 75% or 80% attendance would be something that they would agree to get the scholarship.
The way that we administer scholarships is it's at the time of payment. And so I'm just thinking through procedurally how we would hold someone account. If they came to 50% instead of 80%, we would take the scholarship off and then put a bill on their account.
Well, it could be almost just a written statement that they understand that this scholarship is initiated based on the understanding that you will attend so many.
I can tell you that we do have a practice of if someone gets a scholarship and then they either don't show up or they only come to 1 or 2 lessons, we put a note on their account that they will not receive a scholarship in the future.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
I
we do
like that.
we do
I
that.
don't think we want to penalize people that, I mean, you never know what the life
What
situation
situation.
is,
Well, that's
you
why
know, so.
I think the
Yeah.
Can't
threshold.
say 80% or 50. I mean, we don't know what that life situation is. I like,
And I would
No.
say, too, it's not been an issue. For the most part, folks that get scholarships come to the activities. Especially now that we can see who's come because it's all swim lessons, right? It's not stuff happening outside of the building, so.
same with our Little League scholarships. Most of those kids show up.
Okay, so I will work with the trust to get something in writing supporting that, and then, or if not, then I won't bring the policy back to you, or I will bring the policy back to you.
I think that's a great idea, but it's their funds and I'd like to see them weigh in on it.
And that is it on policy review.
Yay.
Okay, so we'll move on to number 4, discuss the RFP for audit services and the path forward.
So board members, we did put out an RFP for audit services. We received 0 responses. And so I asked our current auditor what they recommended in terms of protocol, and they said that they would be more than happy to extend it another year and have us go out again. They recommended instead of doing a fall RFP to do it in the late winter, early spring. And so we can try it again in late winter, early spring of 26. But that we would be going out for audit services for the next year. So we would stay with our current auditor for 1 year, no changes to the fees that are in our existing agreement with them. And then we could try again to go out for RFP. This is expected based on feedback we've gotten both from the Special Districts Association of Oregon and that I've heard at School Board Association too. There's just not a lot of public auditors right now in Oregon. And if you have one, keep them. And if you don't, good luck. And so we'll go out again in the winter, spring.
And winter, spring is the reason is it's a slower time.
It's a better time for auditors to respond to
Okay.
RFPs.
See if they want to take us on.
Yeah, for another year out.
Yeah.
So we would stick with our current auditors for this current fiscal
Right.
year. And then depending on the responses we got, go with a new auditor the following year. So I just wanted to check in with the board and make sure that that is okay with you. It makes sense. And if so, we can move forward in that way.
So how do you go out for the RFP, Courtney? How and where do you advertise?
So what I did this last year, or this last time, is I made an RFP page on our website and posted it there. And then I sent emails to every single municipal auditor identified on the Oregon State Auditor list from the Secretary of State's office. So I think I sent out 600, it felt like a lot of emails, just saying, hi, this is our district, our size, our budget, our staff members. We have an RFP open, click here to get to it, and then it takes them to the website. We can pay to put it on Oregon Buys, but I feel like direct communicating is probably more effective.
And how many are in the state right now? Do we know?
I have the list. I want to say it's something like 200. There's like 200 or something individuals. So you could have 10 of them who are in one office
Okay.
or 20 of them in one firm. But I sent it to the individual email. So I want to say it was a little over 200, but I'll have a better number. I can send it in my Friday update.
So we have 200 auditors. And how many special districts do we have?
Well, there's 940 something special districts and then 198 school districts and then all of the cities and counties.
36 counties.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
so that's why we don't have very many.
Sounds like some CPA
That's
should
why
start
we're
some
on the bottom.
businesses.
I was gonna say, we're encouraging all of our staff to go be CPAs.
Yeah.
Go be see- Yeah.
All right, so I guess we move on from there. Number 5, review health department inspection results from 10/17/25. Now,
Yes.
is this the one that we had an anonymous complaint on? Is that this
That,
one?
my understanding is that a call was made to the Oregon Health Authority complaining about the facility operating outside of compliance.
Okay,
And as a result, our local health inspector from Jefferson County came and did a inspection. So what you have in your packet is a copy of his notes. What happens when they come in and do an inspection is they bring their own testing kit. They take samples of all the pool water. They do their own tests. They do a safety inspection, walking around both the natatorium, the bathrooms, testing the water temperature. They go into the pump room. They're looking for safety violations. They're looking for any health hazards. As you can see on this first page, this was our slide pool. So that's the leisure pool. And when you look at the testing, we were within the pool ideal on just about all of our test results. When you go down to notes, they note that the hook and the life buoy are good. The railings are tight. The slide is secured. The stiff board, which is what we use to backboard anyone out of the pool if we need to, was good. All exit doors were self-closing. The toy and equipment was all in good condition. He and I talked through some significant changes in how we're staffing as a result of the new rules that were adopted in April. And we also talked about how we're using Hydro apps to do our daily checklists to make sure that everything is safe and compliant.
did he tell us what the complaint was? Was it just that we were out of compliance?
Yeah,
or
it
He
was
didn't say specifically this.
just that there was a complaint, we were out of compliance.
Okay,
And did you know they were coming or
Nope.
this was just a complete surprise?
No, we're always ready. I mean,
Sure.
usually he comes in the spring. He had mentioned that there had been a meeting of all of the county health inspectors talking about the new pool rules and the frustration of aquatics professionals who were having a hard time becoming compliant. When we get to it, I mean, we're compliant. And so I think in some ways he thought, well, I'm going to go back and tell him my pool's compliant. So I don't know what all your people are talking about. But that's part of what he wrapped into this surprise inspection was compliance with the new rules as well, because they're going to have to start doing that as part of their compliance efforts. On the next page is the lap pool. Again, you can see that our test results are all within where they should be. I'm going to note that I think the temperature is wrong. I'm not sure why it says 89. We keep our lap pool at 81 degrees. And I didn't notice that when I signed it, but I just noticed it now. So, and I'll have to look at that. But again, you go to the bottom and see the specific notes that, all those things are secured. The eye wash station is good and in chem room. The chemicals are all stored correctly and behind locked doors. Our logbooks are filled out. He also noted that we do an extra step of testing our water every 2 hours when it's actually only required to be tested every 4. And that we haven't had it, we've only been open since the beginning of October. So there haven't been any fecals or vomits or any of that kind of stuff. And then the third is the spa. So when you look at the spa, you can see again, it's all within pool ideal. And with the exception of this ORP, the ORP is how much the motor is working to get the chemicals and the things happening. And so we've been looking at that with our pool contractor to help us make sure that we've calibrated it correctly. We inspected the timer, which is good. The railings are tight. The signs and the rules are posted, yes.
Well, on that note, Courtney, I'm reading this as a 773 under the test results for the spa.
Mhm.
And that's within the ideal range.
We are a little bit over the
Oh, a little
ideal.
high, I see, yeah.
Oh, I want an A++. So we're close. We're not at the max, which means we're safe. But we're still trying to dial that spa in. The spa gets drained at least monthly. Usually we do it weekly. It depends on the bather load. And we can see with our water quality testing if our combined chlorine or dirty chlorine is staying at a 2 or it goes up to a 0.4, then we know it's had a lot of skin cells and things floating around in there and we need to drain it. So, but we usually do it at least monthly, if not weekly. And then the next section is the aquatic venue significant rule changes for operators. I wish I had had this list before I did my own that I presented to you back in the spring, but it's pretty much exactly the same. And you can see all check marks. We do have in progress a review happening with OHA on our boiler replacement, whether or not it's considered a substantial alteration or a replacement. So I'm still waiting to hear back on that, but we've been communicating with them about that. That is one significant change, that if we're gonna do any major renovations or changes, that the state needs to be notified and they need to determine if it's a substantial modification or a replacement. And all of those are check marks. So I will tell you, our team is awesome. Looking at
Yes.
Amanda out in the audience.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, good job.
And I'm so proud to be one of few, I guess, facilities that are compliant. And when he said, you know, how did you get into compliance? I said, well, we took advantage of a bad situation when we were closed and put our energies into making sure we could do this. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have or.
Well, comment, I happened to call this inspector on kind of a clarification on a mold issue. And we got to talking and he was very impressed with this facility and the people that manage it. That was something that, you know, in compliance already, everything's copacetic. He was very complimentary.
Yeah. I just want to say in the months that you guys were closed and I had to swim elsewhere in a town south of here is all I will say. It was unbelievable, unbelievable how I cried every day on my way back. The water not clear. I don't, you know, when I look at all these things that you guys passed with flying, I'm like, I don't think they'd fly at all. Just amazing how the hard work you guys put in over the summer and coming back here, it was like, it's like a dream. Blue water, you know, clean, everything clean. Even the showers in that pool, unnamed pool, are not consistently warm. And they're really icky. And so I could have, anyway, kudos to all of you and your hard work. That's all I can say. Because I'm somebody who uses a pool regularly and will continue to.
Well, and speaking of warm showers, I will share with you that one of our staff has a magic touch and figured out a special way of resetting our domestic hot water heater, and she's been humming. So we are,
Not you?
when he tested it, he said your water is coming out hot. It was at 150 degrees on the boiler, which, you
It
know,
has been the
Right.
past
Yeah,
couple
I was like,
weeks.
I went and it was really warm.
so we're limping
Had
her
a magic
along.
touch.
November 10th.
November 10th
Is when we get it changed.
is
right?
when the project
It
starts and
starts, yeah.
hopefully doesn't impact operations.
That's right. Yeah, great.
So we got that one. So now move on to number 6. Discuss potential engagement with SDAO to assist the board with evaluating the executive director position description and wage scale.
So Irving and I had a conversation and I reached out to Shanta with the Special Districts Association and said, do you have a consultant that could do a project where they would help the board evaluate both the job description of the executive director, the position itself, and if it's the right position to lead the organization, and the wage, and not have me be a part of it, because I would not like to relive the last 6 months.
Right.
So the answer was, yeah, Bob would love to do that. So they're putting together a proposal. If the board is supportive of going in this direction, then if it's under whatever I think it's $10,000 or $15,000 approval, I can just approve the contract. And then we'll have that consultant work with you guys. And the idea is that my contract is up June 30, 26. The board has some decisions to make between November and January, February around negotiating a contract with me or going out for application for a new director. And I think I would recommend it's much better to have a consultant do it than have me help you with that, just for perception purposes.
Right.
So that was the idea. And if the board's supportive of it, then we'll have Bob connect with Irvi and we'll move forward.
Do you think the Bean Foundation or anyone would help with that cost?
Maybe. I expect that the cost will be more about travel time, like mileage reimbursement and stuff like that, and not like an hourly $500 an hour rate or something. I know that if the board chooses to do another wage analysis, it's $250 with HR Answers. But if you decide to do others, I don't know what Bob's going to recommend. So there will be some costs associated with it. We do have $20,000 in the administration consultants budget that we had put in there for the board to either get assistance with evaluating the possibilities for the future, or looking at alternative options for if we have a third party come in and take over the pool, or whatever the options are for the future. So there is some consulting dollars budgeted for something like this. I can't imagine it's going to cost more than $5,000 or maybe $10,000 at the most.
So the SDAO goes with an independent consultant, or it's somebody on staff?
They have a team of, I don't know, 5, I think. I call them range riders. They're retired public sector leaders that they send out to different districts to help with things. So and because Bob is Park and Rec, I'm sure that's why they're recommending him for the project.
Okay. And we know Bob, Bob did our training.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, a comment. So as I've suggested and we've discussed, that we would put the job out after the first year with her, what job description and what she does. I think if we put the current wage scale with it, that will be an indicator of whether or not the wage scale is appropriate for that position without having to spend $10,000. If we don't get any applicants, it's low. If we get a dozen, it's probably a little high. But I don't see the benefit in spending $10,000 or $5,000 to go through a process again, where our naysayers in the past have said that they don't recognize SDAO as a legitimate source of information. And I've gotten that from several of our naysayers. So my vote or my suggestion would be not to engage SDAO and just put the job out with the current wage salary.
Could that be a possibility to do that initially and then if there was, or no, it's one way or the other, basically.
Did you say HR Answers only charge $250 for that? That's a huge difference between them and SDAO.
Well, the SDAO contracts with HR Answers to provide HR services. So we get a reduced rate because we're members of SDAO. It may be that Bob's services are 1,000. I mean, I don't know. I always think worst case scenario that it's going to be 5 to
Right.
10, but it might come back less. I don't know.
I think we should at least have that conversation.
Put some
with them.
feelers out there, because I'm kind of with Frank. $5,000 is a lot to spend on doing another salary survey.
The scope of the project is more than just the salary survey. It's thinking about, would it make more sense, for example, I was reading minutes from when the pool was originally built. And there wasn't an executive director. There was an operations manager, there was a finance manager, and there was a and a facilities manager.
Well, yeah,
Would that make more sense rather than having an ED? You know, how do other small districts with small budgets fulfill all the responsibilities? You know, there may be another model out there that we don't know about. So it's thinking about that. It's looking at the job description. You know, in your board packet later on, you're going to see me having tracked my time and tasks for the last however many weeks. You know, having someone outside of me look at that and say, wow, that's a lot. You know, I don't know that you're going to find candidates that are going to be willing to do that. Here's my advice on how you approach that. I think it's more than, I would say, just a salary study. It's sort of a bit that bigger picture view of the model that we have and whether or not it makes sense.
Well,
You know, it kind of
like-
brings me back to the community and they don't realize, go back to 2020, maybe 2019, I don't know exactly what year. We had an executive director, but we also had an office manager that did the payroll and the bookkeeping. Total those together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a facilities manager and a
Well-
maintenance manager.
yes.
That's my feeling too. If you break it up into, it's gonna be possibly more expensive. I don't see how that is financially
Well,
prudent.
The other thing that we need to make sure is that if we're asking other entities to make sure that they're their own special district. One of the things that I've noticed is if a pool's included with Park and Rec, they don't have their own bookkeeper. They use a city bookkeeper. If a facilities manager, they have county maintenance or city
Right,
maintenance come
Right.
and help with the pool. So, and we want to make sure we do apples with apples and not have one, I don't know, is Redmond inside the city Park and Recs or
Third district.
They're just-
their district?
Mhm.
Okay, so that would be one, but, you know, like Big Benville, where I'm from, that's inside of the Park and Recs budget. So the people don't actually get to vote on it. It's one big lump sum budget.
Is Bend like that? Do you know? Does anybody know? Is Bend like?
Bend
that?
is a special district
Is a special district as well?
with a tax rate higher than the cities of Bend.
Right.
So they have a lot of
They
money.
have a lot of people too.
Yeah, the money's there. Or, you know, like Frank was saying, we could put it out, but not put it out on that exact wage, put it out with the salary range. You know, from
Yeah.
This to this.
Like now the
Depending on
salary
the
range is
experience,
117 to 135 or something. Roughly.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm pulling up our wage scale. It is 118 to 148.
And I think if we do that ourselves, I think maybe we need to drop it, open that scale up a little bit more.
Well, we'd have to do that on the board.
Yeah.
And go from 100 to 150 or something, but I think we could adjust that.
Oh,
So however we wanted, yeah. DOE.
So the two new board members, have they seen that salary study that was done last spring?
I don't think I
I
have.
was gonna say, I don't,
I think
Yes, I
I
haven't seen it.
did.
I think Trudy
Okay.
brought it to one of our meetings. Or Coraline. someone did.
Yeah. Pardon me. I don't know.
I think
It's worth a revisit.
it was one of the things they requested and brought in. Last 5 months.
All right. Ready to move on?
so do you want to just put this as a topic at the next meeting once we have the potential fee? Okay, I'm saying yes. Okay,
Yeah,
You're gonna get that from Bob.
yeah,
tell them it's all about the money.
he'll understand.
Okay, we'll move on to number 7, standing in timely updates.
I do not have any updates on A. On B, I can tell you that I haven't had time to research or apply for grants. I just haven't had the time to do it. On C, capital improvements, we already talked about the domestic water heater replacement is scheduled for November 10th. And we already talked about compliance with the OAR for pools. An update on the vacant board position. We've had one application. Her name is Tamara Coffey. And so that's the only application we've received so far. We do have the application up on our governance website, and people can just fill it right in on the website, and it sends me an email with everything in it. So
So easy. I was just randomly looking through the website and stuff like the application just right there.
Yeah.
Just keep scrolling.
tried to make it really accessible.
Yeah.
I think the deadline is November 7th.
Have we linked it to social media?
Yes, but we can do it again.
Do it again?
Yeah.
Push it up.
And then we were also going to send an email through ActiveNet, but the staff member that knows how to do that hasn't been there.
Mhm.
So as soon as she gets back, it's on my to-do list to work with her on that.
Did the Madras Pioneer run an ad?
Yes.
Okay.
And so did the Spilliai. I want to make sure I'm,
Flushing, did we get the hydraulic loop flushed?
yes, that was completed in September.
Okay, and have we noticed a difference?
Um,
You can say no, but
have we noticed a difference in the temperature consistency of the pools? No, not really.
not the overall temperature, but how fast it comes back or up or down.
We might lower the feature pool we got, valve being broke.
Oh.
And it literally got replaced days before we opened, so I think it's. It hasn't, the pool hasn't come going up and down.
I think we'll see it when swim season starts and we have to lower it and then increase it.
What,
And it hopefully in our gas use utility bills too. I'm hoping that we see a
yeah, sure.
reduction.
The flushing of that system will help the rate of recovery. So it should be brand new. It should be close to a degree an hour, not a degree a day.
Right. I'll let you know when we do that.
Okay.
And I think that's it for standing and timely
That's it.
updates unless anyone else has any questions.
So we're going to convene our business meeting at 6:31. And then we'll go right into our business meeting, 6:32. Okay, so we're gonna have a roll call. So, Board Chair, Herbie Dominguez, present. Board Vice Chair, Jean McCloskey,
Present?
and Board Secretary, Treasurer, Janelle Lewis.
Present.
Board Member Rebecca Blejo,
Present.
and Board Member Frank Maynard.
Present.
All are present, so we're gonna stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I will read our land acknowledgement. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contribute their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to have their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. In Central Oregon, we are standing on ancestral lands of the Wasco, Warm Springs, and Paiute people. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Number 4, adoption of the agenda. But on the agenda, we have to add an item. We're going to have to add item 8B. Acknowledge August 2025 financial report.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the correction or addition as presented.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
I,
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. Okay. Correspondence, patron comment cards, emails, and other communications regarding MAC operations.
Hey, board members, there's quite a bit of correspondence in your packet. The first piece of correspondence at the last board meeting on September 22nd, Susan Barker had submitted some questions about mold in the facility and asked for answers to the questions. And we also said we would include those answers in the board packet. So you can see her public comment questions in the correspondence. The email correspondence that was returned back answering the questions. And then an email that our vice chair had forwarded to me from the Oregon Health Authority about mold testing. I also want to note here that on our website, we have added a frequently asked questions page where we have our district plan documents as well as frequently asked questions at board meetings. So on this website, you can see, some of the questions that we've gotten multiple times that the board has received both in person and in writing. And as other questions come up, we can update this page as well. And included the information about mold on that. The next set of correspondence is.
Real quick,
Oh,
sorry.
yes, go ahead.
Sorry. So when the health inspector was here from the county, did they discuss anything? Did they say anything about mold? Did they?
No, mold did not come up.
They
I mean,
didn't find any mold? They-
No, he walked through the facility and said everything looked good.
Perfect. Perfect.
The next section of correspondence is my error. I should have included this in our last board meeting in September and frankly just forgot. So it's in your board packet this month and it's related to the summer 2021 grant that we received and some requests for information from Susan Kovari and all of the records that were requested associated with that grant. The next section of correspondence is a petition for public records disclosure order from the Jefferson County District Attorney. When someone submits a public records request to the district, if it's not clear if we can provide or fulfill that request, we work with our attorney, and our attorney in this case said that we should not provide the information requested. The request then has the option of petitioning the Jefferson County District's attorney on whether or not that decision was appropriate. On this particular case, the Jefferson County District Attorney said that the district needed to release the records. And so you have his order saying that they need to be released. And then my emails fulfilling that request. And it was related to time clock records of folks present at the Aquatic Center on August 19th. So you can see my email. And then you can see that the time records were released for each of the staff members in the facility on that date and time. The next section is two Government Ethics Commission complaints submitted to the Government Ethics Commission, one related to Chair Dominguez and one related to Vice Chair McCloskey. They're the same allegation related to an August 8th executive session notice. Executive session notice. And so all of the original complaint and all of the documents supporting it are included in the packet for both Chair Dominguez and for Vice Chair McCloskey. The next, I think I have to go to the next one. The next piece of the packet is a letter from the Oregon Government Ethics Commission and their consideration of a preliminary review report regarding allegations against me as the executive director of unethical behavior. And this is a letter from the commission that they did not find cause to proceed with an investigation and dismissed the matter. And it has been brought to my attention that there are members of the community who would have liked to have seen the investigator's report included in the board packet, and I will be adding it along with this letter and my testimony to the commission in our next board packet. I just didn't occur to me to include that, so I will add that for the next board meeting. And then the order of dismissal associated with that. Next is a letter from the Department of Revenue. A complaint was made to the Department of Revenue that we were not in compliance with local budget law. I spent time talking with staff and a couple of things, and you all know this, when we had that presentation from Bob from Special Districts Association, he said that in special districts, you have to have a majority of the members seated on the board for something to pass. And then with budget committees, it's the same thing. Well, that was new information to me. And as I talked to the Department of Revenue, they said that they changed how they interpreted that part of the law several years ago were the words he used. And I probably haven't attended a training in 5 or 6 years because I've been to many over my 20 years. So I know that now. And I have to say that with all of these complaints that are being submitted, we always can grow and learn and get better. And so I appreciate the opportunity, honestly, to learn and get better and do better. This letter from the Department of Revenue talks about how we need to do better with our voting on budget committee. And then I also inadvertently had a calculation error on our LB1 form. And so that's been fixed too in our template. And so next year we have the opportunity to have the Department of Revenue look at it before we publish all that stuff, which I appreciate. So it has no impact on our current year's operation. We have all the budget authority to do what we have in our amended budget. And they're not directing us to make any changes now. Questions from the board?
Now, I just want to make a comment going back to that budget committee. We had professional people on that budget committee. They were unaware of this new change as well.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah, well,
Kind of blindsided.
and I'm sure, have you shared with the committee?
Yes, I did
Yeah.
email the budget committee and let them know.
Yeah.
And this letter went to them too, I think, right?
I don't know if it went to the budget. Well, yeah, I think I forwarded it to them.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time. Yes,
I think we were on.
yeah, well, as part of the budget
Everyone
committee.
is on that.
The next piece of correspondence is an invitation to the 2025 MAC Bash. It's on Friday, November 14th. This is the MAC Trust's annual fundraiser for scholarship funds. And again, they're planning to do the dessert and silent auction, and all proceeds support scholarships for activities. So if anyone would like to donate items for the silent auction, desserts, or other items, it's greatly appreciated. And it's got my contact info on there, and I'll probably just send people to one of the MAC Trust members. with anything that they want to donate. So put it on your calendars, Friday, November 14th from 7 to 9 p.m. The next piece of correspondence is the results from our best practices program. I did go in and answer all the questions associated with our operations. This year, we are going to get a 10% discount because we checked all the boxes through SDAO and SDIS to get that 10% off our liability insurance. And our liability insurance last year was, I think, $37,000 or $38,000. So that 10% is very welcome.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the SDAO again, will they have that board member training up and running by the February?
I think that's their
Conference?
intent.
That's their intent, and they'll let us know when they come out with that conference
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, and I think their goal too is to also have the public meetings law required training available online through Vector Solutions, or I don't know that, I think they changed their name, but we have an account with that, and it's something I can assign to board members via your emails. So once that's available, that's an option as well.
And there are a lot of trainings out there that are there right now and available. They're not credited or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next in your packet is a letter we received from Patricia Mossbrucker. She talks about, well, you can read it. It's in your packet. Attracting folks to come to the pool in the evening for water aerobics. And then the next letter in your, oh, nope. I received this email about a tribal learning series. It's being put on by a couple, well, one community member from Warm Springs and one, I think her consulting business is out of Bend. But it's a history about, well, it's a tribal learning series. So they're doing territory acknowledgements, tribal history for the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, tribal consultation and best practices. And I just thought it was a really great opportunity for learning. I'm hopefully going to be attending and would encourage board members if you're interested to attend as well. They have both in-person and virtual options. And then
For real quick, if we can
Yes.
go back to donations, I have Daryl Marine who will donate a flag of freedom. You know, his company has, you see all the big flags. So he and Brightwood will donate the installation, but we will have to have somebody pay for the material. So I think the last flag, I don't want to speak for him. So maybe 1,800 in material, I believe, but installation, he will cover, Brightwood will cover the material. And I think maybe, and I don't want to speak out of turn, depending on what kind of lights they want to put up, we might be able to donate electricians. Yep. So, yep.
Is that something you're thinking for the MAC trust?
Yep, for the MAC
Oh, that'd
trust.
be great.
He can
Yeah.
do that, and they just have to buy the metal.
it's cool.
Take care of everything else. So,
Awesome.
Nice.
yep, and we'll get the certificate made tomorrow.
Cool.
I can bring it to you or whoever you'd like. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, the flags are all over. We have one on our house.
I want
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
So,
Frank,
discussion
you need
around that evening water.
You need a flag on your new barn out there.
Okay,
So you can just buy one right there. So we'll have the certificate.
okay.
Okay, there we go.
What a salesman. I thought you were human resources.
We are, but I do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sell cars.
Have jobs like that.
On the evenings we're open with family swim time. Is there an area that they could do water aerobics?
We think that if we did one at like 6 o'clock, 6:15, that's when we've been pretty dead. Most of the families are out by 6:15. So, and yeah, we've got room that we could accommodate it.
So do we want to do a CD and try that rather than the instructor?
I can tell you from firsthand experience that it's really about, it's the instructor and it's the camaraderie, and it's not gonna work with the CD, in my opinion, Jude, as somebody who's taken the classes a lot. I really think it is
Have you
about,
ever tried one
I have,
in a
and
group setting?
for people like me who have hearing loss,
Mm-hmm.
and and don't want to have to look at a screen because I can't wear my glasses in the pool, it's really beneficial to have an instructor
Yeah.
who can jump out of the pool and demonstrate the moves, get back in the pool, go, without you be like, oh, what was that, can we go back to that, I didn't quite get that. And it's a fun thing. I mean, there's a group of women, I'm sure I know I would go. If I can't do it in the morning, I would do it in the evening, just to do it, because it's not only exercise, it's like camaraderie, and it's like I've made
Community.
more friends through that than I have in anything else in this town in 3 years. So, I mean, maybe that's my fault, but
So everything.
I
is-
really advocate for it. I think it would be worth giving it a try and seeing. I think that you would have like people who right now can't come in the morning, younger people, or even older people. I mean, I'm retired, so I don't have to worry about it as much, but I think you'd have people come.
Mhm.
I think you'd have 5 or 6 people a class, which is, about what we're, I don't know, sometimes there's 10 to 12, but it probably would start at 5 to 6. I think it could grow. I don't know.
I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think because I was trying to reflect on why I didn't feel great about a tape or a CD option. And I think for me, it's so many of our patrons need those modifications because of
Yes.
physical ailments. And I'm worried about the liability. And I don't know if there's liability. I haven't researched it, but I think that's the piece that makes me nervous that I would want to look more into before we did it.
So
Is
I'll
someone
just
getting
say
hurt?
The ones that I have participated in, they had a big screen up there.
Well,
And there's a
that's true.
person that's on that big screen, and she's telling you and showing you what to do out of the water.
But then if you have that big screen going, if there are people in the lap pool or in the other pool, that's kind of disturbing. I mean, I think that
True
would be-
enough, because
that would be
facility, yeah, the
the
facility that I
pool-
went to,
right.
that was all that was going on. at that
No,
time.
right. And
Yeah.
because the pool is still open, I mean, and I have gone after in the evening to do lap if I can and if I need to. So, that would be, I think,
I kind of agree with Becky too.
So
No CD. I mean, like you said.
Trying
the
to save money here, you
camaraderie.
guys.
I know, but.
I'm not
it's-
saying that it
it's the
can't work. It may be in the right
personalities,
setting.
it's-
How many
It's
people
that
does it
person
take to be
in that-
cost effective to have the
that's the question
instructor?
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, how many
Ru-
people does it
roughly.
take?
It's the same staffing we have now at the facility at that time.
But
So you
but
just
no,
So you're
that's
not
staff
adding a
member,
person.
rather than being a lifeguard, she's having to lead a
That's,
class.
that staff member is not a lifeguard in the evenings. They're doing facilities work that could be done a different time. They're doing CPO duties in the back pump room, getting ready to close. I honestly, I feel like it would be a good test to see how many people come out for that. We've had quite a few requests for it, so.
Try it, but I think we need to set a limit. If there's only 5 people participating, to me, that's not cost effective for the district.
So what if we did a test November, December? And then when we come back and look at our springs, because I'm going to bring back the spring schedule options for you based on our participation and stuff, then we can reevaluate.
Yeah,
is there any idea, would this be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Is that what you're thinking? or
Wednesday, Friday.
Wednesday, Friday.
I think the CDs are just so robotic. And then, you have a CD.
Don't knock it till
are
you try it,
ready? I
Irving.
know, but hey, I've tried different CDs, different things.
I think if you're an individual and you're
Exercising,
doing
and
it, I can
I
see
can't
it.
do it with somebody.
But in a
who's-
group and people start talking
I
and
need the-
and I'll tell you,
You-
this group that
Yeah.
I participated in, there was over 20, and there's no talking allowed.
oh, I know, but those are not fun classes,
Yeah.
in my
You're
opinion.
exercising, no talking.
Well, yes, I am.
Jean, we gotta go try this class with Becky.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think everybody should. I'm
Oh, okay,
Girls-
Irving, yeah. Frank,
Yeah.
you can come too.
There were.
we do
men
have a
in
few
that
gentlemen who
classes.
do show up, so just so you know, it's
Water
not
therapy's
just
good
women.
For your back.
You know who,
I have a
Cap-
bad back too.
you know who Captain Ahab is? He would show,
So I'm hearing maybe
Yeah,
let's
we'll do
test it
Let's
November,
test it, yeah.
December.
I get in the
I
water.
Got
think
it.
that would be wonderful. I think you'd really,
I
there's,
think a live
I'm a former
person,
lifeguard.
so much, like when I go to a trainer, You know, I have a wall of CDs at home that I can loan you if you want to do CDs. So, but you know,
No, but see,
but
I
you
participated
don't-
in this pool
yeah.
CD thing.
but you don't do as well until you have somebody there that's saying, hey, you, or
Yeah.
this way, or something like that. And real quick, can I break in? If you don't mind?
Yeah.
So does anybody know the score of the game? Can somebody send
about the cheat?
a message? Somebody take a look, because I am missing it.
Packers
Which
aren't
team are we
playing, who
talking
cares?
about?
It's World Series.
It's a World Series.
Oh.
Oh, I don't care about
I was like,
football.
the Chiefs-
We want to talk
Chiefs
about
are
some
playing in the
baseball.
round.
I think my wife's listening, so what's the score?
Oh, I know.
Okay,
4-2 Toronto.
all
It should
right.
be 2-4, yeah. Toronto's winning.
The last letter in correspondence is related to fitness as well,
Thank you.
from Amanda. And that, I think, is all of our correspondence.
I don't see Amanda's
I
letter.
did read it, yeah, it's right there.
Mine went from Moss Rucker to Tribal Learning
Yep,
Series.
and then after that,
Past that.
Oh, after that.
yep, there's one more after.
Does it say something about CDs?
Yeah.
It says not to use them. Jane. Human interaction.
That's right.
Well, I missed that today, Amanda.
Yeah, I missed it somewhere too. I'm at the boiler. The water heater. Okay. All right. So- Okay,
Yeah.
patron.
Do we need to vote on that, or is that?
I
can
think
we
it-
Just make that,
There's consensus and we'll move
Consensus,
forward
yeah.
and do it and then
Give it a
bring back
try.
information.
that's
Are you
wonderful.
sure? Do you think we might need to vote on it?
No.
Sure, okay,
That's an operational decision
okay,
that I could make.
perfect,
Yep.
perfect.
I got the direction.
Okay. So now we're moving on to number 6, visitors section, public comment. Members of the public are welcome to speak to the board of directors during this time. They should sign in at the beginning of the meeting to be recognized by the board chair. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes, except for the exceptions that we did make. Okay.
And
so-
Mr. Chair, we have 2 on Zoom.
Okay.
If you'd like to start there.
Who do I have?
We have Susan Kovari and we have 3. I'm sorry, someone else just messaged me. So we have Susan Kovari, Cora Hollyman, and Trudy Haugen.
Okay, let's start with Susan.
Okay.
Let's get our timer going.
All right.
Who has their, do we have a timer? Okay. Give us a second.
And Susan is unmuted.
Oh, yeah,
Let's see.
thank you. This, I forgot about him.
Am I starting now?
Hold on, Susan, almost there. Our timer going.
Okay, we're ready, Susan.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Susan Kavari. Thank you for speaking. I'm speaking today, sorry, about transparency, accountability, and the importance of truth in public service. Before I begin, I'd like the board and the community to hear a short portion of Executive Director Courtney Sneed's own statement from her recent Oregon Government Ethics Commission hearing. Hold on. Well,
Of allegations of wrongdoing thrown at me over the last several weeks. I've had the pleasure of speaking with the Department of Revenue, Oregon Health Authority, Department of Justice, the Oregon Department of Emergency Management and Resilience, and now this commission. Because there is a group of folks, 3 or 4 folks that are ready to have me fired by throwing any spaghetti at the wall. So
thank you. In that recording, Courtney characterizes citizens' complaints as personal attacks, claiming several of us want her fired, that our filings won't stick to the wall. That is not true, and the public deserves to understand why. Our filings were never about personalities. They were about facts and compliance. They documented a pattern of inconsistent statements, missing documentation, and procedural violations that erode public trust when left unaddressed. Tonight's meeting materials make that concern painfully clear, and Courtney actually brought it up. In packet 2, Director Sneed included only the ethics case dismissal letter, omitting the original July 29th ethics complaint and the Ethics Commission's preliminary review, both key public records that should accompany any official summary. Yet when it came to the August 12th public meetings law complaint against the board members, every single document was included, even down to the Commission's October 13th complaint referencing the same issue. This inconsistency shows a selective approach to transparency, complete disclosure when the scrutiny is on others, but partial disclosure when it concerns her own actions. In the citizens' August 22nd grievance, we requested 3 simple things: recognize and remedy the violations from the August 8th meeting, ensure executive and special sessions are limited to their lawful purpose, conduct all substantive deliberations in fully noted public sessions. Those are not unreasonable demands. They are the minimum expectations for open government. And if the executive director is not guiding this board in those obligations, then as citizens, we will continue to help the board understand them. Now let's talk about the different departments that she's had to talk about. Department of Revenue, that issue was not imposed on Mrs. Sneed. That was brought upon herself. After multiple citizens filed formal complaints with both Department of Revenue and the Jefferson County Assessor's Office about the irregularities of the 25-26 budget process. Those filings ultimately led to the Department of Revenue opening their own review of the max budget adoption procedures. On September 23rd, Director Sneed told the Department of Revenue analyst Howard Mose that the budget was properly adopted because a majority of members present voted 4-3, adding that the district had followed its typical approval adoption process. But the law clearly requires the majority total budget committee membership, not just those present. Less than a month later, on October 16th, Courtney told the budget committee something entirely different, that the interpretation of the rules have changed, and that was new information to her. Those 2 statements cannot be true. Then after 10 years on the Jefferson County 509J School Board, where she currently serves as chair, and 5 years as MAX executive director, she unquestionably knows the difference between a quorum and a majority vote. In every year prior, under her year leadership, the MAC budget passed properly, unanimously, 9-0, 10-0, and 9-0. But this year, the one passed at 4-3, and she called it typical. It wasn't typical, it was illegal. Let's go on to Oregon Health Authority. Oregon Health Authority Program Director Erica Van Ez wrote me on August 13th, and she told me that the director of the Madras Aquatic Center was going to contact Max in Madras and request a pre-opening inspection and report those results to OHA. Contrary to her earlier assurance, the agency's program manager she never called, didn't do the inspection. Okay, yeah, you have one on the 17th of October. That's your semi-annual. That wasn't called in by anyone. You have 2 inspections a year. Let's take that for record. Now let's go on to the ORIAM grant. Courtney handled the grant in much the same way. After receiving shortly worded letter from the finance director outlining concerns about her misuse of funds, Courtney launched an exaggerated effort to contact multiple state leaders, including the ORIAM's manager, superiors, a member of Congress, and even the governor's staff, rather than addressing the substance of the complaint. That time and effort could have been spent far more resourcefully by correcting the issue, ensuring compliance, and communicating transparently with the board and the community. In closing, these examples point to the same concern. When things go wrong, Director Sneed offers shifting explanations instead of clear accountability. That is not leadership. It is not transparency. The community needs to hear this because these are not isolated mistakes. They form a pattern of inconsistent explanations and selective disclosure, the very behavior that undermines public confidence in this district.
Thank you. 6 minutes. Thank you.
Got Cora being unmuted right now.
Okay. And then also for people in Zoom there, we do have a board opening. So you guys are welcome to apply. So Susan, please apply. Okay, so let's move on. Who do I have? Cora?
Cora is unmuted.
Hey, Cora, you're ready to go.
Hi, I appreciate you letting me speak over Zoom. I'm sorry I didn't anticipate being on Zoom tonight, so I didn't schedule it ahead of time, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I wanted to be there in person today to hand you all the preliminary report, the investigative report from OGEC, and I am glad that Courtney recognized. Obviously, that means someone read my email that should have been included in the packet. I've emailed each of you with the packet and the link to the full hearing and haven't heard anything back. But it's challenging when we hear that it's just completely dismissed because the actual objective findings of the investigation were founded and there were violations, probable violations found for prohibited use of office and inappropriate handling of a conflict of interest. And the staff recommendation said, based on the information available during this preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe that Courtney Sneed may have violated the conflicts of interest in Oregon ethics law. So it's challenging as a community member who is, it's really hard to see the board sweep everything under the rug. You're the ones that said that you needed to wait on this investigation. You have the investigative preliminary report. It seems like no one has looked at it or read it. If you had listened to the hearing, you would know that Ms. Sneed has already told the OGEC commission that she felt the wage scale did need to be rescinded, and now Frank is suggesting that they go ahead and use it for the next thing. And as a taxpayer, what Susan said is correct. This is not personal. Our district cannot afford that range. You have a money problem, and your voters need transparency, integrity, honesty, and we need you to follow through on your own policy for how you handle these complaints. Please look at your complaint policy, section 5, 1A through C. Number 2, where are you going to put this on the board, on the agenda and discuss it properly and answer to the 250 people that have signed onto that concern letter? That is the type of accountability that the voters want to see, and that's not what we're happening here. You guys just talked for a very long time about exercise classes videos versus not, and then there was like crickets about this issue. So we just want to hear some discussion.
Thank you, Cora. Right, and I
I've
think
got
you said
Trudy.
Trudy.
Mhm.
Okay. Trudy. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm turning my volume up.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. If my dog starts barking, mute me, but he's okay right now. Okay. So for the record, Trudy Haugen. As a taxpayer, these are the things that I'm not okay with. The budget committee being told that the pool had never been completely drained when clearly it had. Levying the 40 cents with a closed pool and moms doing the recreation for free with our tax dollars setting in your budget. Unlawfully passing a budget from committee when 3 community voices said no, and neither does the Department of Revenue. I'm not okay with you not answering emails from your constituents or even validating that you got them. 220 taxpayers taking the time to communicate with you and you totally ignore each and every one of them. Building permits not getting approved after construction, leaving our building open for liability. and you not having a clue about it and not dealing with them in the ASAP fashion that they should have been. An employee creating their own wage scale? Yes. You were told they recused themselves? Yes. OGEC was told with one adult employee on staff, there was no way that she could not be part of it. And how many adults do you have on staff? And at that time, did you not have 9 FTE employed on that day, and not the only adult? Why are we okay with this misrepresentation of our district? McCarty, the mold issue, you brought it up, and all you do is scold the public about it instead of educating them. I'm not okay with the documented faulty domestic hot water heater not being fixed in the format you were closed. And for the employees, I guess only the one adult, OSHA might want to know, that have to flip switches. I am not okay with the lack of judgment that we allow someone to come in and drone video our school children and allow that media to go out the door to be used however that person sees fit. I don't care what the regulations are. If our kids cannot come to this facility with a guarantee that they will not be streamed all over Facebook, not from the school or the MacRD, we have an extremely huge problem on our hands. And for all of you, I am not okay with how you are representing your constituents. No matter our stance, we have a voice, and it isn't just when we vote, though the vote result doesn't mean anything. And I'm not okay that the past 2 times.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so nobody else on Zoom?
That's it on Zoom.
Debbie?
Oh, let me make sure that's on.
Make sure the mic's on.
Hello. I just wanted to say thank you for opening up the pool. I've been enjoying it in the mornings. I like it a lot. Just wanted to say thank you. Can you hear me?
Can you tell us your name first? We know
Oh,
who you are,
oh,
but
okay,
just
sorry.
for the record, sorry.
Hello, my name is Debbie Stinson. Sorry about that. I just want to say thank you. I've been enjoying the pool in the mornings. I've been going to Amanda's class, and I want to just thank you. I really enjoy it. It's helping my body feel better. I've had less pain, and I just wanted to say thank you. I came late because I was closing the store, but I think you guys talked about the evening classes that you might be adding Amanda to that. So I was here to ask about that as well. So thank you for taking that into consideration. The only one thing I would like to add is, I don't know if there's any more wiggle room to add a little bit more time in the morning for people. 7:30, like I need to be to work at 8:45. So I have like 35 minutes to be in the pool from 7:30 to like 8:05, and then I need to get out and get dressed and get to work. So I could see that people who like working at 8 o'clock, things like that, they're not even able to come at all. So just food for thought. If there's available time later, that might be a good opportunity for more people to come in the morning. But thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie.
And the time you're asking, I mean, earlier, open earlier or stay later? What?
Well,
I mean,
7
like 7 to 8 or 6:30, or is that what you're?
I mean, I don't know how I'm not there, like, I think you're open, what, 7:30 to noon or something?
7:30 to 12:30.
7:30 to 12:30. So I guess I'm saying if 12:30 is really slow from 12 to 12:30 or 11:30 to 12:30, and you guys feel like you can add another hour in the morning and shave it off from that time, or
Okay.
just that, I've watched people, and I've watched a lot of people that came really early. They've been able to bounce it back. But I think if you had to open later, I think you're gonna lose more people in the morning. I think if we're able to open a little bit earlier, you're gonna gain some more people back. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yep.
Susan Barker.
Hi, I'm for the record, I'm Susan Berger, and I'm like a bad penny because I keep showing up. And I'm not attacking anybody. I'm hoping this is more informative, and it's about the mold, obviously. I have a real thing about it, and I'm not real sure that this still satisfies me of what's happened. I want to thank Courtney for getting back with me very quickly. Filled me on a lot of stuff. You know, I am new here. And so I had some things I want to address. And they came from, I don't know who they came. They came on my email, so I don't know people. But it came from Frank. And so I'm going to kind of respond to some of these things in an educational factor, to maybe help everyone understand kind of the mold factor of what we could be looking at and not realizing. And he said he didn't know why the previous ED covered up this several years ago. And I don't know that cover up is the correct word necessarily. I think lack of education and understanding on that person, and possibly you not understanding either. And all of us maybe not understanding the degree of what we're looking at. You said there's no toxic mold in Oregon. Common black mold in Oregon is not a danger, and it is a huge danger. And it can lead to such factors of having to need oxygen to even lung transplants. It is that serious. And it should be looked at as a serious situation with a community facility that we have. It was, there's many types of it. And I know that Courtney relayed to the fact that when it was discovered, that talked to the Oregon Health Authority, and I didn't realize that it used to go through OSHA, and they turned it back to the Oregon Health Authority, or turned it over to the Oregon Health Authority. And they're the ones then that in fact kind of set the rules, and then they handed on down to Jefferson County or to the counties. And I found in all of my research and speaking with some physicians and people that do this for a living, that they're really uninformed also. And the fact that we don't know what we don't know. Nobody jumped out of the moon knowing anything is the best way. But can I have a few more minutes? Couple more minutes.
I think, sorry, Susan, we have to stick to the time. We have to treat everybody the same. We have to be consistent.
Sure, well, there
So-
goes the education for all of you.
How about next time?
Something to leave with us.
Huh?
If you have papers to leave with us, that would be fine.
Well, no, I didn't print out papers this time. I
How
really
about
didn't
next time?
to you.
Yeah.
So,
How about next time? Save it for next time, but we have to be fair and consistent with everything.
well, I understand, and I think this is
Thank you.
more important in your lives. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
David, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Okay. Okay, thank you.
I don't have a speech prepared, but I'll just speak from the heart. For the record, my name is David Montgomery. I'm the volunteer drone operator that some people in the community have taken notice of. I just wanted to come and set the record straight and introduce myself, because if you listened to the social media writings of, or if you paid attention to the social media writings of people affiliated with this Waves of Change group, one of whom has actually spoken here tonight. In the last 48 hours and starting within 2 minutes after I posted a video to the Madras Neighborhood Community Facebook page, because I'm not accountable, because I'm not a part of MACRA, because I'm just a volunteer in the community, apparently the only accountability they can demand from me is by slandering me and trying to besmirch my character and my good name. Within 2 minutes after I posted the video, they were posting in multiple places on Facebook, including hacking my own Drones Over Central Oregon Facebook page that I have as a community page for drone operators and people who just like to watch drone videos. And they identified me as David McGlemry, the pedophile child sex predator who's sneaking around Macrid with his drone, filming naked children and posting it all over the internet. They took images of me off of my Facebook page. They manipulated them with AI filters to make me doing silly things, everything from wearing a clown costume to whatever they could think of. I didn't frankly go looking for or paying that much attention to it. A couple of them indicated that they had sent as many as 3 emails to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office identifying me as a pedophile child sex predator prowling around the swimming pool at Macrid, posting videos of naked children on Facebook. I guess they haven't discovered that Facebook actually has algorithms that would make that impossible, let alone the fact that if you've seen that video that I posted with the David Bowie song of the children that we coordinated to do the swim lesson, if you watch that and your takeaway is there's a pedophile filming naked children, obviously it's not hard for people to see how deranged and sick you are. But when they post their comments about that without the video, that's where it becomes damaging. And that's where I become litigious. But aside from litigious, I'm going to start with the criminal prosecutions. Because if they did in fact file complaints with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department alleging that I'm a pedophile based on a positive messaging video that supports the great job that Macrid is doing, I'm going to see to it that they're prosecuted. I have thick skin. It doesn't bother me so much that they besmirch my character in that regard, but it does bother me that they tie up valuable resources in this community.
Thank you, David.
They waste the time of police who are stretched thin, understaffed, and have much better things to do.
David.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So I would like to comment just a moment. I did see those posts. And the first thing that came to my mind is that, and as a drone operator, you probably know better, but if you are in a public venue, you have no expectation of privacy.
Correct.
You can take, if you're in a public venue, anybody can take a picture of anybody.
This is my killer drone
Yeah.
that they also
Yeah.
accused me of.
And I was gonna see if it was loaded or not, but
If I put a battery in it, it'll weigh 9 ounces.
yeah.
You know
So,
the balsa wood propeller planes?
Yeah.
These propellers don't hit as hard as those.
so anyway, I agree with your assessment of what went on. I think people are uninformed and just trying to hurt anything they can.
Well, for the record, I have already drafted an FOIA request to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department requesting any and all emails that have my name in them that they may have received. If they did in fact send those emails,
Yeah.
each one of those will constitute a felony charge of false reporting.
I'm so
And I will
sorry.
pursue it.
Oh.
Little background about me.
All right, thank you.
Disabled veteran.
Great pictures, by the way. This is a
Very, very
very nice
sorry.
post.
Thank you, David.
I look forward to making many more.
Nice meeting you.
I thought it was very tasteful myself.
I haven't even seen them.
You haven't seen it? It's on the
No.
map. It's on the website.
Hey, Courtney, we have anybody else in Zoom? So,
You can't.
okay.
really
I have a
see
comment I'd
these.
like to address from last month.
Okay.
We had a community member come in and one of his comments was that he pays more in taxes for the pool than he does for fire protection. So all the tax registers records are public. So I don't know if he was correct or not. So I went and checked. And what he stated was in fact incorrect. He pays $150 more for the fire department than he does for the pool. Now, so that people don't think that I'm spying on people and inappropriately putting out information, I want to tell you how much I pay in taxes for those two items. For the fire department, and I left my notes, so this is rough numbers. I pay $960 a year, this is last year, for the fire department and the bond. I pay, I think it was just over $600 for the pool. So I'm sure he had the best intentions. I know he's not a fan of the pool, but we need to have the correct information out there. And that's why I went and did some research. So that's what I have.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, so we don't have anybody else? No more? Okay, so we're gonna move on. Let's go to financial report.
Board members, in your packet, you have the month end. Oh, I put September. So I'm sorry, I had you adjust the agenda to include the August financial reports, but it should have said September reports, because that is what is in your packet and that is the prior month. So you have your balance sheet first that shows our cash position. And we are down about 88,000 in assets year over year. And as you keep going down to liabilities, you can see our liabilities month over September of 24, September 25 are down. And in particular, payroll liabilities and accrued vacation liabilities. And so at the end of the day, our equity so far through the end of September is negative, and that's because our property taxes don't come in until November. So that's why we're showing a negative equity at this point in the year. When you look at our profit and loss for the month of September, you can see that property taxes are coming in much higher than anticipated in the budget, 150% higher. We have a partnership with the Confederate Tribes of Warm Springs Prevention Team. They bought 100 punch cards, 110 punch cards to hand out to families in Warm Springs. And then they also rented the pool and paid for it in September. They rented the pool in October, but they paid for it a month earlier. And as a result, we actually had some revenue in September that was unanticipated. And so you can see we had $10,000 in revenue in September when we expected about 4,000. So always good when that number is higher than what we expect. For revenues, for expenses, we want to see the number lower than what we expect. And you can see that personnel services came in at 88% of budget for September. Part of that is 2 of our part-time staff members took the whole month off and got to go to Ireland with their faith and had a wonderful time and brought us back some really cool things. When you keep going down to materials and services, we're at 61% of budget. We didn't have as many repairs to make as we anticipated. I think part of that is we spread it out over the whole summer rather than just focusing all that time and effort in September. You can see that under administration, we were over budget for legal services by quite a bit. And yet we still were able to end the month pretty far under our estimated expenses. And so overall, our expenses were expected to be around 107,000 and they were closer to 70. So I count that as a win. And then again, just wanted you to see that under the debt service fund, property taxes, these are prior year taxes that are coming in that people have paid over the last month. So that's what you're seeing in your September profit and loss. Continuing down to the Jason months, the July, August, September, October, when we're using tax anticipation loan money to get us through, you can see that we were negative in terms of the cash flow that we had available from the tax anticipation loan. We did pay back a portion of the general fund loan to the debt service fund. Remember, we had talked about when we had principal available to pay it back, we would, and then we would only charge interest on the remaining principal. And so that is the cash that's floating us through September and October until our property taxes really start rolling in November. The good news on this Jason analysis is down here at the bottom. We are on track right now with all of our guesses and estimates for revenues and expenses to hit our budgeted assumptions to have $33,000 as ending fund balance, which is a pretty big swing from our negative $70,000 ending fund balance last year. And so this, data tells the story, and the story for me on this is that we've made some corrections that will help the district hopefully become more financially sustainable as it tries to support the pool. So those are the financial reports for this month. I'm happy to answer any questions, or Janelle, if you have anything as the Secretary Treasurer to add.
Nothing. 33,000 sounds like a win, but the first maintenance failure we have is going to eat it right up.
It's true. I'm pretending like that's not hanging
Just
over our
saying.
heads. No, I know you're 100% right.
That's it for no other questions. Anything for our financial reports? Okay, let's go on to consider approval of number 8. Consider approval of the consent agenda.
And just to remind the board, you did amend the agenda to add an 8B, acknowledge September 2025 financial reports.
I see.
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda with that correction to September 2025 on 8B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Let's go on to number 9. Consider approval of resolution 2026-04, adopting public contracting rules and procedures in certain class special procurements.
And that's what we discussed.
At both the September work session and the work session
Right,
tonight.
right. Okay. Well, I'll make the motion to approve the resolution 2026-04.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Number 10, consider approval of changes to the MAC-RD scholarship eligibility criteria. That's the one we talked about of opening it up to all Jefferson County.
Yeah, I propose that we table that until we get affirmative action back from the MAC-RD or the MAC Trust that they're okay with that.
So we can postpone it to the
Yep.
November meeting.
Yeah.
Agree with you, because you said you have a text message, but we want something in writing, right?
Yes. I think they've got a meeting coming up November 7th. So, yeah.
All right. Number 11, executive director report.
Okay, board members. So the front desk has been tracking patron and activity counts. So as patrons come into the building, many of them, particularly in the morning, are people we know what they're going to go do. Some of them we just say, hey, are you lap swimming today? Or what are you doing today? And so as a result, we have data in your packet of patron and activity counts from September 28th to October 19th. And you can see that, and it's kind of small up on the screen, so I'll try and make it a little bit bigger. So you can see that our 7:30 a.m. time is, we have the most patrons in the building. The average per day is 45. That's down here at the bottom. And you can see the different activities that people are participating in during that 7:30 time frame. And the same is true for 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. And so as Debbie had mentioned, and I kind of was like, yes, one of the things we're going to look at when we propose our schedule for spring is whether or not we should be open a little bit earlier and maybe not open as late either in the afternoon or in the evening, because you can see that activity kind of drops off, and right around 12:15, we don't even have anyone on the chair because there's no one in the pool. Then you can see that in the evenings, 4 o'clock has been really busy, and the data from this most recent week is not included here, but it was really busy at 4 o'clock, and we are still tracking this data, so that'll be in your update next time.
I think it'll look better to get a wider window.
Yes.
Yeah, let folks get used to the pool being back open. Yeah.
Yes.
So with that numbers, the 4 PM number that's what we have. That's the average that comes in at 4 PM, right?
Yes.
So roughly 22 people.
Yeah, that's the average per day.
How long do they stay?
It depends on what they're doing. So families with littles tend to stay somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Folks that are lap swimming, it might be 30 minutes. It might be a little longer if they hot tub after. Our independent workouters, same thing, might be 45 minutes and then, 20 minutes in the hot tub.
So what do we have per exit? Like 4 PM, roughly 4 PM, we have 22 people in the pool. And then 5 PM, hour later, we have
We're at 8.
8. So, and then those people are here at the same time, right?
Some of them.
So we would have 30 people.
Some
I
of
mean,
them.
kind
Yeah.
of, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
And so at first when we started tracking, we were trying to see when they left too. And
Right.
we can't consistently keep track of that. So then we started just counting
When they come.
when they come in.
Okay.
And then on the weekend hours, these are based on starting Sunday, September 28th, and then ending Sunday, October 19th. I can tell you that this last weekend, Saturday, we were almost full. We had 79 and we had enough staff to have 80. Sunday, we had enough staff to go to 120. And I think we had about 32, 28, somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly. So hopefully as more and more people find out about it, they come to visit. I can tell you that a lot of the folks coming on Saturdays and Sundays are from out of district. There's more participation from out of district than in district. We've also sold a lot of memberships to new folks coming in the mornings and the afternoons. So that's been really encouraging to see too. I can't wait to see our October financials once all of the data is entered in to see what the membership revenue looks like, because it feels like it's much more than maybe it was this time last year, but maybe that's because I'm working at the front desk and seeing more of it.
And our time slots for Saturday and Sunday are the same, right? 3 to 6?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're later than they were before, which is kind of an adjustment. I feel like,
Yeah.
as like a parent. I think just many people aren't used to it being that late in the day.
Yeah.
And if you're doing other activities with your kids, I've taken mine a couple times and they're just really
Tuckered
tired by
out.
then. And then you throw them in a pool and they're really tired. Don't last as long. So, but
Well, I hope we see those weekly evening numbers pick up, because over and over we heard we want to be open in the evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then just to give you a sense of expenses.
Real quick.
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
For out of district, what do we call an out of district? Anybody that's out of the 509J district?
Anyone
Like
that's outside of our
Culver,
boundaries, yeah.
Culver and.
Culver, Crick
Prineville.
County, we have quite a few Prineville swimmers. Redmond, Bend, Terrebonne.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Are they coming from that fall?
yeah, we hung out with a family the other day that was from Pineville in the locker room
Oh.
when I took my kids. So it's mostly who we see a lot of, and there's Pineville folks coming
Yeah.
over.
Because they have just the outdoor.
Just the outdoor pool. Yep.
Yeah, once their pool closes, we see our
Good.
numbers go up.
Good.
And then just to show you expense versus
Is that-
revenue.
Sorry.
No,
Is
yep.
it worth advertising more in Prineville?
We do targeted Facebook stuff
Okay,
outside of the district area. Yes.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. And then just to show you staffing levels. So first over here, you see fitness, lap sim, independent workout. This is the 7:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and 4 to 7, staffing required. And so the cost weekly is about $3,500. And then when you look at the earned revenue by week so far this month, you can see that we're subsidizing it about half with the revenues that we're bringing in. And then when you look at Open Swim down here, you can see the minimum number of staffing to have 120 patrons in the pool costs about $1,500, and the revenues that have been brought in for each weekend. So we're subsidizing it about a quarter, I think, or a third. So just data from this first month of operating. Then I did some graphs because I like graphs, just to show you the average weekly usage by hour in activity. And you can just see the highest usage is at that 7:30 to 8:30 time frame. And the lowest usage is that 11:30 to 12:30. And then Open Swim participation. Now, if I add Saturday from this last weekend, we'll have it up here because like I said, we did have more folks. Any questions on any of that data before I move to the next set of information?
I just had a random question. I was surprised when I was in there. I know with the new requirements, we have to have an actual lifeguard at the top of the slide and the bottom, but I wasn't expecting there to still be a third person that has to sit there and tell you the rules of the slide and decide who goes up, and that can't be one of the other 2 people manning the slide. So there's now 3 people at the slide.
Correct. Because of the way that our slide is constructed, the first Open Swim we did, we had a lifeguard at the top and a lifeguard at the bottom, and kids were going all the way up and they weren't tall enough. So then they were sent all the way down, or they were going all the way up with their life jacket and then coming all the way down. And so 2 things. 1, the staff members that we have at the bottom of the slide are deck attendants who are 14 years old and ineligible to take the lifeguard class yet. And when we offer them employment, it's to be the deck attendant and hopefully become a swim instructor. And then their employment is conditional upon them passing a lifeguard class when they turn 15. And it's a way for us to pipeline those 8th graders into becoming lifeguards. If we don't have them providing that direction on the slide, that first day we were open, it caused a lot of problems. For staff trying to enforce the rules. And it also provides us with that pipeline. So as a staff, we discussed, the 3 of us, Peyton, myself, and Amanda, like, does it make sense to do this? And it really does. The investment in having them be on staff with a conditional employment offer through them passing the class allows us to have lifeguards ready to go when we offer that next class. So, the benefits outweigh the cost, and it helps us with safety. And they're not just watching the slide. When they're off rotation from doing that, they're checking bathrooms, toilet paper, all that stuff while we're in the middle of the Open Swim. They're helping clean at the end of the night so we get out of there quicker and we're not paying all these other staff for an extra half an hour when they would have been doing extra duties. So there's a lot of benefits to having them on staff.
So these are volunteers.
No, these are
These are
employees.
Paid employees.
They're paid employees.
Okay.
And then if they don't pass the lifeguard class, then they will no longer be employed with us.
I see.
So it's a conditional job offer to get them in the door.
A lot of places will have like a height requirement, like ruler by an
Oh, we do.
entrance.
We have that.
You do too. Okay. I guess I should know.
Kids don't.
Yeah.
They're
we don't
not
follow those.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
paying attention.
Absolutely. Where are their parents?
Well, they're required to be in the pool now, trust me. I went in, swam.
So do we have any lifeguard openings? Do we have any openings right now that we can hire for or
Yes.
looking for?
So we just conducted interviews over the last 2 weeks, and it's the most applications we've ever gotten. We have 7 new lifeguards ready to take the lifeguard class, November 1st and 2nd and 8th and 9th. It's 40 hours of training. They all have the 7 of them have conditional job offers that if they pass the class, they have a job. A group of responsible, impressive young people, ages 15, 16, 17. And then we have two existing staff. So we have two existing staff that are also going to take the class because they are now old enough to take it. And then we have 3 lifeguards recerting. So we have 10 in the class, which is the maximum that we can have with one instructor. And we're really excited about that. This is probably the most we've had since I've been there in terms of people enrolled in the class.
So the first couple of days, is it book work rather than pool work?
It's a mix.
A mix?
And every instructor, they're called LGIs. They all do it differently. Normally we would have Peyton as our LGI teaching it. I've actually brought on the LGI from Crook County Park and Rec to teach this class because I can't relieve Peyton of her other duties because we're so short-staffed right now. So Hallie is going to be teaching the class for us. I can tell you that when I did mine, Greg taught it, and it's a mix, but we try not to do water and then have to go sit in the cold meeting room. We, try and make it work so you're not doing that, but it's first aid CPR. It's practicing on the CPR dummies. It's diving down and getting the brick, but then also being able to get Timmy, which is our plastic dummy, off the bottom, and how to jump in the pool, how correctly. There's 5 or 6 different ways to jump in a pool correctly, how to rescue someone if they're active, if they're passive on their back, if they're passive on their stomach. It's a lot. And we put a lot on these teenagers in terms of being first responders. So we've got a really good crew right now.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. That was on my list of things to tell you. The last thing in my report packet is you had asked me to keep track of my time and tasks. And I would love it if you would direct me to not do this anymore, but I've done it for the last 4 weeks. And there's a summary sheet that shows you, by week, how many hours each day, and then each week. And then you can see the task list that details, every moment of every day of all the fun things that I do. And I shared with you that I wasn't sure how this was going to go when we reopened because of all the different hats I wear, and I'm loving every moment of it. It's a lot. And as I said to you, like making the mistake of telling you to put August instead of September, I'm going to do that. But I'm also loving that we can keep the pool open even though we're short-staffed, because there's been a number of days where we weren't sure we were going to be able to open unless I'm both in the rotation in the morning and covering the front desk. So I think that if you look through this, you'll see that not a moment is wasted. Aside from maybe catching up with staff about things, sometimes we take a little turn, but that's that tracking. Does the board want me to continue doing this? Because I will if you want it.
Probably takes you 2 or 3 hours to track it each week.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like an attorney. I just keep going back to my spreadsheet.
I think that's enough data for what we need right now, and then we can include it in the job application process as well.
Yeah, you have 4 weeks of this.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's, because I can finish the task list here from when I posted the packet.
Do we have to vote on that or just no? Okay.
Consensus.
Consensus. Okay.
It was an experiment. Yeah, experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all that's in the packet.
So let's go to. Okay, let's go to number 12, board member reports and highlights. Do we have anything?
I enjoyed some great volleyball this winter, watching the Culver girls play. Yeah, haven't had a chance to come in and watch a Madras game. It's been fun. That's my highlight.
On that note, the Madras White Buffalo girls are going to the playoffs for the
State
first
Oh,
time
right
in
on.
years.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of girls that Frank was coaching, including my daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I
really
abandoned them.
Oh,
Congratulations.
they're high school kids, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
high
it's a
school team.
varsity high school
Oh,
team and
okay.
Madras made
Yeah.
it to state playoffs this weekend in Pendleton.
Probably Pendleton.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I promised to go watch.
Well, good. Good.
Someone will give you a ride if you want.
Who?
Urban, my husband.
Oh. Mm,
I'll just say that I've loved coming back to the pool and not having to drive to Redmond. I said it. Oh my goodness. And it's just, you guys worked so hard this summer and I saw it. And I hope that all the people who are having difficulties with the pool, I would love to see them come to the pool and enjoy it as well. It might be, the endorphin release that I get anyway, I know has been amazing. And I hope that, the naysayers come. It's your pool.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
It's your pool. Okay.
Um,
No,
I always have
I
lots.
don't.
I've
Go
been
ahead, go with
swimming
lots.
twice already with the kids.
Yay.
My daughter wants to have her birthday party there in a few weeks, so I gotta look into that. But I think my biggest highlight has been at work, just being able to prescribe the pool passes. I've had so many patients that are really excited to be able to go there again. And so we're handing out a lot of those within the St. Charles Family Care Clinic. And then we actually just had a new provider move to town. So we have a new physician working in our clinic who started a couple weeks ago, Dr. Schuster. And I passed them in the hall the other day and I said, oh, how's everything going? They were like, oh, it's great. And their highlight to me in the middle of the hallway at the hospital was, I actually went and checked the pool out yesterday and went lap swimming. I'm going to try and go at least twice a week. Got a pass and I'm going there and I'm going to work out. And so, and I told them that I haven't swam since I was pregnant with my daughter. And so I was like, can I come with you? Is that creepy? So I'm probably going to try and go lap swim. We're going to do like a work lap swim and see if we can get some folks to that.
That's great.
Good.
But they were very impressed with the pool. They just moved here from Colorado and them and their partner are both going. So yeah, I'm super excited.
I know who you're talking about.
Good. That's all good stuff there. So. Yep. Good there. Reminders and upcoming meetings and events.
So board members, I don't know if you've been in the MAC lately, but it has been completely turned into a pirate ship because we are, through the leadership of Amanda, all dressing up as pirates for the Chamber Halloween contest on Friday. So if you'd like to come join us between 9 and 12:30, we expect to have them come and take a picture, and Amanda has put her heart and soul into this year. So all the kudos to her. We already talked about the MAC Bash. Again, Friday, November 7th is the deadline for vacant board positions. And then the next board meetings are November 17th and December 15th. Remember, you moved them from the 4th Monday to the 3rd Monday because of the holidays. And then lastly, I wanted to get on your radar, the SDAO annual conference this year is in Seaside from February 6th to 8th. All board members are welcome and encouraged. We do have money budgeted for professional development if board members would like to attend. So please let me know if that's something that interests you.
What kind of classes are they gonna have? Is it something we need? I mean, we always need training.
They do a lot of different sessions. And so there's something for everybody. There's HR sessions, there's liability sessions, legislative advocacy, how to run a good board meeting, how to work with you, how to evaluate your executive director. There's sessions on all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And it's geared toward elected board members. It's for you guys more so than it is for staff.
Is the training there that we need before we end our term, right?
Possibly.
I was gonna say, it
potentially.
might be.
So I'll wait to see what the agenda looks like when they come out with it before I decide if I'm gonna go.
Awesome. Those are all the reminders I have.
That's it. So I guess we're going to adjourn our meeting at 7:52 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.